Welcome to DT tutorial, where mathematics is made very simplified. So in this video, we're looking at this 1998 Y question. And the question is, for what value of x is the expression x minus 5 all over x squared minus 2x minus 3 not defined? So the hallmark of this question is not defined, not being defined. So this question is from undefined expressions. So we have option A, 3 and 1, option B, minus 1 or minus 3, option C, minus 1 or 3, option D, 3 or minus 2, then option E, 1 or minus 3. So like I said, this question is from undefined expressions. And like we said before, undefined expressions are those expressions that cannot be evaluated or has no defined value. So any mathematical expression that cannot be evaluated or has no defined value, that expression is referred to as an undefined expression. And like I said before, for any expression to be undefined in mathematics, its denominator must be equal to 0. The denominator must be equal to 0. So let's take this expression for instance, ax over bx. For this expression to be undefined, the denominator, which is bx, must be equal to 0. This is what defines an undefined expression. So back to the question, for what value of x is the expression this not defined? So like I said, for any expression in maths to be undefined, its denominator must be equal to 0. So the denominator of this expression is x squared minus 2x minus 3 equal to 0. So the denominator must be equal to 0. You must equate it to 0. So having done this, if you look at this expression, you will discover that it is a quadratic equation, because in a quadratic equation, the highest power of the unknown variable is a square. This is a square raised to the power of 2. This is the highest power here. So that makes it a quadratic equation. So as a quadratic equation, we are going to use quadratic methods to solve it. And the fastest and easiest one is the factorization method. So we are going to use the factorization method in solving this equation. So the first thing that we should do is to look for the factors of 3, such that when you multiply them, it will give you minus 3. And if you add them, it will give you minus 2. So 3 is a prime number, and so as a prime number, it will have only 2 factors, 1 and itself. So as a prime number that 3 is, it will have only 2 factors, and the 2 factors of 3 are 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So how would you multiply 1 and 3 to give you minus 3 and add 1 and 3 to give you minus 2? So when you have minus 1 and minus 3, minus 1 times minus 3 will give you plus 3. Minus 1 minus 3, minus 1 plus minus 3 will give you minus 4. So minus 1 plus minus 3, plus times minus will give you minus. So minus 1 minus 3 will give you minus 4. So this is not the correct combination for this expression. So let's try minus 1 and 3 and plus 3. So minus 1 times 3 will give you minus 3, which is this minus 3 is correct. Then minus 1 plus 3 will give you 2 plus 2. And we don't have plus 2 here, so this is a wrong combination for this expression. So let's try 1 and minus 3. So 1 times minus 3 will give you minus 3. 1 plus minus 3 will be equal to minus 2. Plus times minus will give you minus, so that will be 1 minus 3. And 1 minus 3 will give you minus 2. So this is the correct combination for this expression. So the 2 factors that we will multiply to give us minus 3 and add to give us minus 2 is 1 and minus 3. So I haven't gotten these two factors. So what I'm going to do next is to replace this 2 minus 2x with this factor. So my 1 here will be 1x, and you know in maths we don't write 1x, we just write x, so it will be x minus 3x. This expression, these factors that I've gotten is what I've deduced, what I've turned into x minus 3x so that it can replace this minus 2x. So having gotten these factors, x minus 3x, which I got from these factors, I will put them in this expression. So this will be s squared minus, so instead of me to write minus 2x here, what I'm going to write is these factors. So this is plus x minus 3x minus 3, which is this minus 3 that is here, equal to 0. If you look at these two expressions, they are the same. X minus 3 will give me minus 2x. So this expression and this expression, they are the same. So having gotten the equation like this, we can now group them into two. So I will come here, group this, and also come here and group this. So with this, I've grouped my expressions into two. So after grouping this expression, the next thing I will do is to factorize each of the expression within the bracket. So if I factorize this expression, what is common here is x. I have x squared here, I have x here. So what is the common expression here is x. So if I bring x out of the bracket, open the bracket, what will remain here is x plus what will remain here is nothing. As a result of that, I'm going to put 1 there, 1. So if I open up the bracket, s times x will give me s squared, s times s squared, plus s times 1 will give me x. So these and these, they are the same. So you can discover that this s squared plus x is the same thing as x, open bracket, x plus 1 after factorizing it. Then we also factorize the other bracket, the other expression within this bracket. So if we factorize this, we have 3x here and we have minus 3 here. So the common expression between these two expression is 3. So this will be minus 3, that is common between them, open the bracket. What will remain here is x, and what will remain here will be plus 1. And it is plus 1 because we have minus here. It is plus 1 because we have minus 3 here, and what you have here within this bracket must be equal to what you have here within this bracket. So if we open up this bracket, we will still have what is here. Minus 3 times x will give you minus 3x, which is this minus 3x that you have here. Minus 3 times plus 1 will give you minus 3. So this expression and these expressions, they are the same. So having done this, since what we have within this bracket and what we have within this bracket are the same, we'll take one of them. So my expression now will be x minus 3 is equal to 0. That is this x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0, which is this x plus 1 that is here. So x minus 3, which is what is outside the bracket, x minus 3 is equal to 0, or what is inside the bracket is equal to 0. So what we have is x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. So we have x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. So when this minus 3 moves to the other side of the equation, it will become plus 3. So this will be x is equal to, when this minus 3 crosses, becomes 0, which is 0 plus 3. And 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. So here, when this plus 1 crosses, it becomes minus 1. So this will be equal to x is equal to 0, which is this 0 that is here. When this plus 1 crosses, it becomes minus 1 is equal to, so 0 minus 1 is equal to minus 1. So The answer to this question is 3 or -1. So for what value of x is the expression this not defined? It is not defined when x is equal to 3 or x is equal to -1. So we have 3 or -1. So the correct answer to this 1998Y question is option C, -1, which is this, and +3, which is this. So option C is the correct answer. So for what value of x is the expression this is not defined? So this expression is not defined when x is equal to -1 or when x is equal to 3.